Welcome if you're new here, welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Dion. We're going to do a base face while I do the intro, but we're here because we're going to do a roundup of all the palettes we used in May, and I just counted, we used 23. We did do some palette bingos and we did do some mashups, but there's no way I can hold all of these up at the same time, and so I'm going to hold up half and then the other half, and then we're going to, so this is half the palettes. And this is the other half. Oh, and then these two little ones. And so, and some of these are heavy because some of these are the motherships. Yeah. And this is the other half. So, y'all know rankings for me are hard. We're going to tier them like we normally do. But right now, let's just get started with the primer and the foundation and do the intro for anybody who's new and for those who just like the affirmation. So I call this the crazy troll nation of YouTube. The crazy, just knowing it's okay to be your authentic self. The troll part, not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to feel like you need to use a certain brand or a certain tool or a certain technique. Use whatever you want to, however you want to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. Here at the Crazy Troll Nation of YouTube, we are about self-acceptance and self-love, embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to, but never feeling like you have to. Love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even when you're not wearing face paint. That is what we stand for here, and I do hope that if you have not heard it before, that it does resonate with you. Two things I need to let you know. If you are new here, I do curse sometimes in videos because I curse sometimes, period. I love this brush. And there's an organism that lives in my throat that randomly gurgles, hiccups, and belches in videos, and is usually just in videos, and it's just like, why? Like, I don't understand it, but I do always say excuse me, and that's a part of just accepting you know, who I am and what happens. I ate about an hour ago, actually longer than that, about an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours ago, with my lunch, and right now it's just after midnight on the 1st. I am nocturnal, so don't let that sound strange to you. Yeah, I got up, had energy, so I did a bunch of stuff, and this is our base face. And so we're here, and I did another video about the new Lethal IP collab, which you'll have seen way before you see this. I'm scheduled out till I think like mid-June, but I did leave space. Like, I didn't schedule stuff every day, so as stuff comes up, I can just like plug stuff in. And I keep saying I'm not going to do an upload for every day, but I do. I think I'm addicted. But anyway, not really, because I haven't done makeup in like 3 days, and so I'm really not addicted. But YouTube doing videos is very much, excuse me, a part of my life. So let's get into these palettes, y'all. I did this, jeepers. I think I tried to put them in order of first use to last use, and some of them we did use twice, and one of them I don't even remember like what it was. It was one of my Lethal BYOPs, and I didn't write down which BYOP it was. Oh, and also some of the looks were one palette, one eye, and another palette, the other eye. Oh, that's better. So the first thing we used for May, it was, I believe it was a palette bingo member request. If you're interested in membership, that link is down below. I do ask questions and they answer, and actually our live streams are based on a member request, because I do ask questions like, what would you like me to do? What would you like to see? And that's what we do for the live stream. So it's always exciting. So for the first 2 palette bingos, they were just like, just whatever. So I'm like, okay, thanks a lot, y'all. So I put all my palettes, well, all the brands in a random generator, chose for it to pick 3 brands. And so for each brand, I put in the palette, all the palettes I have for that brand, and had to pick one. So that's how we picked the one palette. And for each palette, however many shadows, if it was 15 shadows, I put 1, 2, 3 down to 15. If it was 9, I put 1, you know, through 9, 1, 2, 3, 4 down to 9, and had to pick 2 shadows. And so that's how we came up with the palettes we used, well, the brands we used, the palette we used, and which eyeshadows we used. And even doing that, I wrote down the number of the shadow the random generator chose, but I did not look to see what the colors were. And so we did that in the live stream. So it was my first time seeing it, just like it was the attendees' first time seeing it, and those who watched the replay. So the first palette bingo, it shows Martine Cosmetics Mission XXX. And this, I need more space. Let me move this here so I can put stuff there. And I'm wondering if I should move other stuff. Yeah, I am like so prepared, like really. Because I am gonna need more space, and I think I can move, excuse me y'all. I know, I apologize. That's gonna fall. I'm gonna move my gel liners, this little container. We're gonna just put that over here. All right, so now we have space, and I really do not want my paper to fall over because I don't want to have to bend down to pick it up. So let me put that here for right now. So it shows Mission XXX, yeah, from Martine Cosmetics, and this is what that looks like. Excuse me for that glare. And so we use this one. I like this palette more than I thought I would, and I think it's because, actually no, I'm thinking of Moolah Bank. This one, yeah, I like this palette. And also it shows Grunge Life from Salon Cosmetics, and so this is what that looks like. Oh, man. And the random generator was kind to me. Like the color story that we ended up having was very cohesive. And I was just like, okay, this is not challenging, because I was very nervous. Like, this is not going to look right. And this is Notoriously Morbid, Some Kind of Haunted. And so those are the first, ooh, excuse me. Let me move. Y'all, excuse me. I'd be so excited to do these videos that I don't like plan out this stuff. And then we had our other palette bingo. Wait a minute. Why is this over there? Okay, wait. Some Kind of Haunted. Mission XXX Grunge Life. Okay. So the next palette bingo that we had, it shows Lethal Cosmetics, and this is a BYOP, and I just call this the black palette because it's a black constellation. And this is what this looks like. And these were all from the Last Chance page. So these were all like discounted shadows, and I only purchased them because I didn't have them. And it surprised me that when I put this palette together, it was very cohesive. So for me to have just chosen random shadows, this is a very cohesive palette, and I really enjoyed this. And yeah, so that is that. So it shows that one. It shows Iceland Fire and Ice from from Nomad Cosmetics. And it also chose the Natasha Denona Yucca palette, and that's what that looks like. And the colors it chose for that was very cohesive as well. So I was really surprised. I was just like, okay, this is easy. And we also had, where's that palette at? We had a palette bingo. The request was to use, and they know it's one of my favorite palettes, Martine Cosmetics 669. That is what this looks like. And that member wanted me to pair it with Xenon from Natasha Denona. And this is the color, these are the colors that we had to work with. And I did use a random generator to pick which shadows we use from each of these palettes. But look at these. This is just a dream. Like, all the smoke, the grunge, the vamp. You got some sparkle, got some shine. And I will say, all of these looks were like very nice, and it really boosted my confidence in doing palette bingos and also doing palette mashups through palette bingos. Because I'm like, all of these looks came out like really nice. And we also use Mothman. Y'all know I have to. Beans and booty. We use this palette this month. Oh, I love this palette. I always feel like I want to cry because I just love it so much when I talk about it or hold it up and I'm spitting because I'm so excited. We also used Teresa's Lethal in the month of May. This is what that looks like. And we used this. We did the look, and then after the fact, it looked like to me it could have duped one of the new Avatar palettes. And so I just like rearranged the title. And the same thing with Berlin 89. from Lethal Cosmetics as well. So we did a look with this, and I think we duped the look for, I want to say Air, I'm not sure. So we did an ethereal look, if I'm not mistaken, y'all. I don't know, because I think for some reason I feel like we used this twice this month, well, in May, but I might be just getting stuff mixed up because I used quite a bit of Lethal this month. And we also used the Night Flower. Oh, where's my Night Flower? Oh shoot, excuse me, y'all, I'm missing something. Which one? We used the Night Flower. Shoot, dang it, that's not it. Which one? Oh, excuse me for that. We also use a Night Flower palette from Lethal Cosmetics, and this is what that looks like. I wonder, I don't remember. We did use this also to dupe a water look. Some of these shades in here to dupe the water look from, well, the water palette from Lethal Cosmetics. And we also use this one. I just call this Pink Purple Flower palette, BYOP. And we use this one as well to dupe some of the vibes of the Avatar palettes. Let me know if you enjoyed seeing those Lethal looks, you know, trying to dupe, or accidentally after the fact looking at it thinking this could dupe for that. We also used, okay, we used 669 again, and from Martine Cosmetics, and then we used Lethal. We used the Jolena palette. I wonder if this was the one we did the ethereal look. Yeah, and we did a subtle cut crease and reverse wing eyeliner to dupe one of those palettes. Well, we did the look, and then after the fact, it was like, that looks like that could be that. And so that is that. We used the classic autumn palette. I got a mess over here because stuff fell when I was trying to find the Night Flower palette. Who is this? Didi Signature, the classic autumn palette. We used this, and it was a really nice sunset, sunrise type look, and it surprised me. I was like, this is really nice. So we used that in May. We used, I'm looking at my notes because what I did was I went back through my May calendar and I wrote down what palettes we used, and then I typed it up and printed it out because sometimes I have trouble reading my own handwriting. We used In My Dreams, Selma Cosmetics Sassy Fairy eyeshadow palette. This is new for me that I purchased this month, and I am really friggin' glad that I did. And so this is what that looks like. Look at those colors. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, I really love this palette. And what else did we use? We used Moonlit Seduction Mothership number 10. I'm gonna tell y'all something, and it's okay if you say I'm a clown. Sometimes I say I'm a clown. I'm always a troll first. Sometimes I'm a troll clown. I took Utopian Dream and Divine Rose 2 out of my Macquarie store because it was just sitting there, and they do still have life in them. And then as I was looking at them, I'm like, you know what? Since I'm doing palette bingos and palette mashups now, I'm gonna do some with those. And so they still aren't my vibe. And Utopian Dream does smell like a little funky glue or something, I don't know. But I did take them out and I am going to use them. So, yeah, so this is Moonlit Seduction, which I do actually really like this palette. We did comparisons, one palette, one eye, one palette, this eye. And for one of those looks, we used, let me hold these up together. We used... wrong one. I knew something was a little off. No. Wait a minute. Yes, we did. We used Embedded in Burgundy on one eye, and we used Sublime Mothership number 2 on the other eye. And so how we did that was just looking at these tones. And some of y'all guessed right, and some of y'all guessed wrong, like which was where. Now, granted, we didn't use the celestial shades, yada, yada, yada. But if you aren't all about the shimmer, shimmer, high shine, yeah, over the Mothership. And we also did one look, one eye, one look on the other eye with, this was Embedded in Burgundy Matte Connecting Color. Did I say that? Another matte connecting color. This one is Encrypted Kryptonite. And we paired that against, which one? Subversive Mothership number 3. So again, if you cover up the celestial shades, like look at that. Yeah, and in both of these looks, this pairing, well, this comparison and the other one with Subliminal and Embedded in Burgundy, They were really nice. Excuse me for that smack or whatever that sound was. We also paired from Selfish Fallen, from Pat McGrath Labs Bijou Brilliance. We paired Lunar Nightshade. I opened it and sat it down and the lid closed. Lunar Nightshade we paired with Bordeaux Bliss. And the look was really nice. The look was really nice. I'm going to tell you this if you're... Well, will that be... That means I'm going to have to post that after this. You're going to want to make sure you watch that video. And I'll just leave that there. And so I kind of said that in the video something. So, like, if you don't skip, you'll catch it. If you skip, you're going to miss it. And... Excuse me, I'll just leave that there. We also did a look with a lethal BYOP. And I'm wondering if that was, I'm wondering if that was that other BYOP that I had, or if it was this one. Because we did one look one eye, one on the other, with Decadence Mothership number 4 and a lethal BYOP, but I didn't write down which lethal BYOP we used. And I'm thinking... For some reason, I'm thinking we use more than one lethal BYOP, but I'm not sure. And I'm holding up this one. I don't know why. I don't think this... I think this was it, because I'm looking at this gold down here and the gold here. I'm looking at these two kind of reddish tones. And what else am I looking at? I'm looking at the blues. Yeah, so this was the one. So we did one eye, one the other. Some people guessed wrong. And this was kind of easy with this. And with this, using just the metallics in here, this is all metallic. So it worked out really well, and the look was really nice. I mean, I was just like, I didn't know. I was just like, ooh. And so those are all the, I almost got my paper. Those are all the palettes, all 23 that we used for this month. And I just realized I didn't put on chapstick earlier when I did a video. I did put on the City Lips Los Angel Lips. And so that's what's on my lips right now. I've been using it as a lip balm, just trying to see how I like it, and then also as a lipstick primer if I put lipstick on after the fact. So these are the 23 palettes that we used, and we're going to, this is the part, y'all. we're going to tier them, and we do have some that's low tier. Just because, but we're going to get to why, but I already know like what's top tier. And yeah, so yeah, we got 23 palettes here. And what's messing me up now is some of the one palette this eye, one palette this eye. It's just like the other palette was just as nice. But like with the motherships, we have the added, you know, celestial shades, which honestly I don't use that often because I'm not all about high shine shimmer. Even though when I do use them, I'm like, wow, this is really nice. So Subversive is definitely top tier. Sublime is definitely top tier. Moonlit Seduction is top tier. My favorite 3 motherships would be number 1, number 2, and number 3. Subversive, Sublime, and Subliminal. And then would be Midnight Sun, which we did not use in May. And then would probably be Moonlit Seduction. That would be my lineup for my mothership ranking. But so we have 10 Moonlit Seduction, 2 Sublime, and 3 Subversive. I was thinking about something. Yeah, so I'm pulling out top tiers because those are easy. See, I'm saying that, but now I'm like, I don't know. So I'm looking at this. This is always so difficult for me. Easy, top tier. Like just glancing at what I have. Selling Cosmetics, Sassy Fairy, In My Dreams, collab palette. Y'all already know. Beans, Booty. And y'all already know my Teen Cosmetics 669. I'm gonna miss this when it's gone, like for real. Natasha Denona Xenon palette, top tier, you already know. Natasha Denona Yucca palette, top tier, you already know. Ooh, Grunge Life, Selim Cosmetics, You already know. Okay. Yo, I be struggling. So what we're left with, excuse me, Martine Cosmetics Mission Triple X, Some Kind of Haunted by Notoriously Morbid. I'm gonna put this top tier. And I know before, I think before, yes, there's tape over this because this one is just messy as hell. And this is the same exact shade as something from Sunlit Seduction that I depotted. I think it was Crimson, Blitz Crimson, something like that. So if I want this shade, I'll use that one. This was just messy. It would just go everywhere. And this had been, if I'm not mistaken, mid-tier, 1 month. And I think the first month I used this, I think it was bottom tier, just because I was still trying to get a feel for the different types of looks I can do with it. Because some of the shades placed next to each other, they blend into the same shade. So I'm like, where's the variety? Like, what else can I do? But last time I used this, when I used it in May, I was like, yeah. This is what, yeah, I was going to say the F word, but I did tell you I curse, right? But I'm like, okay. So Some Kind of Haunted has proved itself to me, or I should say me using it and using it in different ways and in different color combinations. And I think we did a palette bingo with this too, I want to say. But it really, yeah, so this is top tier. This has made it to top tier. This has made it from the bottom to the top. Now we're here. What? Yeah. So that leaves us with the Lethal Cosmetics, the black palette, the Black Constellation palette. I want to say top tier just because of how much this surprised me being so cohesive, and I love the looks that I did with it, and for this to be like random shadows. Is everything going to be top tier? I don't know. Yeah, we're going to keep this top tier because I was looking at it thinking if everything is metallic, then it may not. But this top row, these are mattes. And this shows up deep. This one, I think, showed up deep. So, yeah, I don't know how often I would gravitate to this, but when I use it, I always really, really love the look. And y'all know I love Lethal's formula. So this is top tier because it just friggin' works, man. It just friggin' works. Oh, we're running out. So we still have Mission Triple X over here. We have Iceland, Fire and Ice. I'm going to put this top tier, too. I remember saying before that if everything ends up being top tier, like that's my goal. If every palette I have is top tier, that's my goal. Everything right here today is not top tier, but to have stuff where nothing is bottom, where it's either top or it's in the middle, which means either it's the top or the bottom, because the second place is the first loser, right? So anyway, this is top tier because this palette surprised me. I hesitated getting it, and I got it after I received an Ipsy, so this was years ago, this shade right here. And I'm like, that's a Nomad shade? What is it? And it's Gallows Lava. And so then I started looking at the palette, and I'm thinking, like, I don't really do, like, these tones right here. And I'm like, but I kept looking at this shade, and I do, you know, fiery looks sometimes. This blue is bold. This is like a dark smoke something. And I bought it, and so thinking I wasn't going to like these 5 shades, how they looked on me, the first look I did was these 5 shades, and that look was bomb. And I'm like, damn, if I do a look with the shades I didn't think I was going to like and I loved it, what's the rest of the palette going to do? I love this palette. This is top tier. And I want to say this is my second time having this one, I think, because the PAO is only 12 months, and it does turn for me around 9-10 months, and I think it's whatever oils they use, because every palette has a different oil in it, and oils do go bad, y'all. But I do have sensitive lids and sensitive skin, so some people can use these longer, but for me, Nomad does turn at about 9 or 10 months. So this is my second time having this one because I loved it that much. So we're left with Teresa's Lethal, we're left with Berlin 89, we're left with the classic Autumn palette, we're left with Jolena. That's going to be top tier, but we'll come back to that. Decadence from Mothership, the Night Flower palette from Lethal, this BYOP from Lethal, and yeah, that's getting heavy. These two Quints from Bijou Brilliance, and these two matte connecting colors. So that's what we have left. Jolena's top tier. This has almost a year life left into it according to the PAO, but of course you can use stuff longer. This is top tier because every look I do with this, I love it. If I want to do dark, I can do dark. If I want to do grungy, I can do grungy. If I want to do ethereal, I can, which is not my preference, but I do them to keep things interesting. And I did a look with this. It was a reverse eyeliner, and we used the blue for lower lash line for the reverse eyeliner, and we did ethereal for the top part of the eye, and we did a subtle cut crease look. That look was really pretty, if I do say so myself, and I do say so myself, even though that's not my vibe. But this palette, I can do a lot with it. And in a sense, it reminds me of Martine Cosmetics 669, except this is not as dark, vampy, or smoky as that, but I can get a lot of different vibes out of this palette. So this is going to be top tier. I'm torn. I'm torn right now with the Classic Autumn palette from DD Signature, and I'm torn because this palette does not call me, and every time I use it intentionally. I'm like, this palette doesn't call me. I don't really want to use it because it doesn't call me, and then I use it and the look is bomb. So then I'm like, so do I just need to get over myself? You know what I'm saying? And so, and this is what it looks like. And it was, like I said earlier, I think I said it earlier, like a sunset, sunrise type vibe look. And it was really pretty. And what I see with palettes like this, it'll be like a monochromatic green look. It'll be a monochromatic red-orange look. It'll be, you know, monochromatic something. And I don't gravitate towards monochromatic. And we know how to do those. You know, take 5 shades from the same color story, put them on, it's going to look nice. And so I do try to do different type of looks when I use palettes, and I try not to do typical looks, which is the monochromatic stuff. This has tape over it because it kept growing. It was just everywhere, and no matter how much I cleaned it, every time I opened it, it was everywhere. And my first couple times using it, I was really close to just ditching this palette. And it was gifted to me by one of my troll Ken, actually, my day one. And so I felt bad about it. And she suggested putting tape over it. And I did. So that's why that looks like that. This is tape. But everything else in here, y'all, these shimmers down here, they are bright and bold. And I'm just like, whoa. And I noticed when I last used it that it didn't have a shimmer purple. Because you have, you know, reddish tones. You have 2 kind of green mustards, and you have this one. This is touching my face, and I'm like, what is that? Because it was so light, and I was like, is something on me? And what else? And even for this shade, you can counterpart it with that one. Your yellows, and I'm like, but there's no shimmer purple unless you just pair it with this one. And this is a nice pair it. Where am I from? Sounding like that. Pair it. With these 3, this black is really, really nice. But I noticed last time I used it, it didn't have a shimmer purple. So we have the shimmer green, the shimmer tan orangey, the shimmer red, you know, pinky shimmer, and the silver and the black, but no purple. So I was like, yeah, I've used this a few times, and I just realized that last time I used it. I'm just like, but so I'm torn with this one because it doesn't call me, and I don't think to use it. I don't want to use it. But when I look over at what I have, and I think, what have I not used for a little while? Okay, let me use this again. But then I really like the look. So you know what? We're going to put this mid-tier. We're going to put this mid-tier because even though it doesn't call me, even though I make myself use it, when I do, I'm like, this is nice. You know what I mean? So we're going to put that mid-tier, and that surprised even me. Like, seriously, that surprised even me. And I do just have stuff just everywhere. So, Bijou Brilliance, these are top tier. I love this creamy formula that they have been putting. You notice I didn't say Pat because she's not in creative control. No one can convince me that she is anymore. And so that's why I say Pat McGrath Labs. But this creamy formula in here for these metallics, I just love it. And I liked Bordeaux Bliss more than I thought. This gave me a dark vampy look, and I'm like, what? The first time I used it, and I knew I was gonna like this one because of these dark tones, but I paired these together, and even that look, these together was just like, yo. So those are top tier. I'm gonna put these MAC Connecting Color palettes. This is Encrypted Kryptonite. and MAC Embedded in Burgundy. So Embedded in Burgundy and Encrypted Kryptonite. I'm gonna put these mid-tier only because these don't call me either. But if you're and I do recommend these, I really do. I believe they're $30, and sometimes you can get 20% off Prestige from Ulta, and sometimes MAC website has sales. I do have links and codes and all that stuff below if you're interested in that. There's only 2 right now that are not affiliated, one of them being Nomad, but you can still get 10% off unless you need a code for a sale that they're having. But anyway, I told myself, these are great for travel, which they are. And the looks that I used, you know, this on one eye and the mothership on this one, this on one eye, the mothership on that one, they were really nice. And so if that's what you're going for, these are perfect. But I just don't grab them. I just don't. But then when I use them, I'm like, these are freaking awesome. And so so these are mid-tier only for that. So it's the same as the classic autumn palette. Like, it doesn't call me, but when I use it, I'm like, wow, this is nice. And even though this looks monochromatic, I did get quite a few looks out of this, and with this one as well. This gives me that smoke, this gives me, you know, that depth, but then so does, what palette did we pair this against? Subversive, because it is right here. And so if I want that look, I can just go there. You know what I mean? And so these may end up in my Macari store. And it pains me to say that because I do recommend these and I do really like them. I just want everything to be top tier. And if I'm not going to love it, which I do really love these, but because I can get the same look, because people were guessing wrong, which means it was the same look as the mothership. And the formula in these are very easy and they're not messy either. And so if you don't want to deal with the mess of the Celestial shades, which we didn't use for either one of these comparison looks with the motherships, I do highly recommend these. And so I feel weird saying they might be in my Macari store. But they're only, you know, mid-tier just because they dupe my collection. That's what I hear myself saying. Because if I want that look and extra stuff, I can get that from the motherships that I compared these to. So if you're interested in those, they might be in my Macari store. So that leaves us with Decadence. We're going to put mid-tier. And earlier when I started to speak and I stopped myself, it was because I was thinking if I paired this with Biba, but because Biba is so neutral, I don't know how these would look with that. And I think only once did I pair this with something else. This is an all metallic palette, and people are like, oh, it's a great companion palette, because some people have to have a matte with their eyeshadow look. I don't. I will do all metallic looks. I will do all multi-chrome looks. I will do all shimmer looks, and then I'll also do all matte looks. And so I don't have to have different formulas as far as mattes or shimmers or metallics. And so I've used this by itself for a long time, and then one day I'm like, oh, let me just pair it. And so yeah, it added to the versatility. But look at these colors though. There's a lot of versatility in here the way it is. But I just don't reach for it often, and I don't know why. Because I'll pick up Mothman in a heartbeat, and there's only 2 mattes in there that I don't even like until the last look I did with it was intentionally putting down one matte first half, second matte second half of the lid, because I don't like how either one of them showed up on me. And so I laid them down first and then topped it with one of the shimmers metallic dual comes in the palette, and the look was really, really nice. And so I'm like, I was tripping saying I didn't like those 2 shades. And so if I can use, and I do all shimmers, all metallic looks, so I'm like, why don't I grab this one? I can still smell the vanilla. I have sensitive sinuses. I know a lot of people can't still smell theirs, but I just caught a whiff and I'm like, that smells really nice. So this is just going to be mid-tier, but this is unique to my collection. Having a mothership with all metallics, and they're all very pretty, and they all show up really nice and bold and bright. Top tier. Fuck it. Because I'm hearing myself like, what am I complaining about? And I'm saying all these awesome, wonderful things. So this is top tier, and the top tier pile is huge. Mission Triple X from Martine Cosmetics. I would say this is unique to my collection, but it's not. When I was looking at my green palettes, which I had looked at this before when Nomad came out with their Ireland Wild Atlantic Way. But with the Lethal Earth palette coming out, well, it came out already and launched on May 31st. I'm like, I couldn't justify getting the Earth palette, which I wanted. And so I started looking at all of my green palettes again. And I'm just like, I cannot justify getting that one. And so this is not unique to my collection, the color story, but it's something about the formula, though. It just works. And I did a look with this palette that I hadn't thought to do. I wanted to do something I had not done with this palette. And so I did a silver gray look with this palette. And we used these two here, this one, this shade, and I think maybe that one. That was a pretty, excuse me for those glares, that was a pretty ass look. And I'm looking at this like, who would think to do a gray monochromatic look with this palette? Nobody. That look was bomb. So if you want to do monochromatic, you got greens in here, you got these brownie tones. You can do an easy, you know, smoky blue black look and pop a gray. This one is the dual chrome. I don't know what color it turns, so it's kind of orangey and then it's greenish brown. I want to say this is a dual chrome or multi-chrome, but I don't remember. My finger cramped up. Ow, my middle finger is stuck. This is like the, fuck. This is like the fourth time that, shit. That's like the fourth time that has happened to me. The first time was maybe like 3 months ago, and I was out somewhere. I was out at dinner, and I don't know if it was what I was doing, like how I was just holding this like this and it just got stuck. But yeah, this finger was stuck. I had to physically bend it because it wouldn't bend. Oh, and it was painful. Damn it. So let me just kind of excuse me for the glare. So you can get different types of looks from here. So it is not a green palette. You only have 1, 2, my finger still hurts. 1, 2, 3, 4 greens. And this one, I believe, is that a dual chrome? No, it's not. So you only have 4 greens in here. This has a green tint to it. This middle finger still hurts. Top tier, fuck it. I'm just like y'all, we got this one left. we're damn it, I'm stuttering. We're going to put this mid-tier because I don't gravitate to the lighter tones, but the look that I used some of these shades for to dupe the water look, it was extremely pretty. Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous. But that was only a few shades out of this palette, and it was a lovely look. But this is mid-tier only because I don't gravitate to the lighter tones, and this is the deepest thing in here, and it is bright and bold. So it's this one. Actually, everything in here is really nice. I just don't gravitate to it because it's a lighter palette. So that's mid-tier for that reason. Night Flower, I don't gravitate to this one much either. And we also incorporated this in the dupe water look for the Avatar palette. I think, I don't know why I don't gravitate toward this one, and I think I talked about it in another video, and I think it's just some of these lighter tones, like this here and like these. So what I might do, excuse me, I might, because all of these are removable. Now I'm paranoid about my thumb. Because these are removable, maybe, and I think I might have mentioned this before, like maybe just keep the ones I am drawn to. This deep blue is a metallic, is a matte. This one is a metallic. And I do think, yeah, we used this one on the outer corner, and this one we put next to it. It was so pretty. And so maybe I'll just mix it up and just make a palette that it does call to me. That's what I'm thinking to do. And what had happened was, I know this one is Overdrive. That's really bold. And I think these 3, this one is Thorn. That's the UV reactive one. And I think something else. But 6 of these between these 2 columns, 6 of them are from, what palette was that? I forget what, I think it was the Wildflower palette. Do I have that one? I don't think I have Wildflower. So yeah, these are, it's on my paper, dingbat. Yeah, Wildflower palette shadows. And the rest are, label whore me here. And the rest of them are from a mystery bag. These were from the mystery bag. And I do like them, but I'm just like, And I have Willow, I think, in another palette, I think. Or is it Wilted? Either this one or this one I have in another palette. yeah, so that's what happened with this one is I didn't choose all the shades, but for them to come in a large mystery bag, like the price is really worth it. And I do like advocate for the large mystery bags. And Ann, hey Ann, and hello Camel, because I talked about it 2 weeks in a row for my Deals with Stills when I was doing the Deals with Stills video. She purchased the large lethal mystery bag and she was very pleased. And she did get an empty palette and 4 shadows, and she got a lippy and an eyeliner and something else, and so she was very pleased because I think it was like $35 and some change. Then you have to pay for shipping, but for what you get, I do say, and every year I do get at least 2 large mystery bags. Last year I did not because I purchased a lot of the last chance shadows. I had a feeling those were the shadows that were going to be in a mystery bag, and I'm like, I already have those. But prior to last year, I did get 2, and I think the year before that I got 2. And I do always get an empty palette and at least 4 shadows and a lipstick and an eyeliner and something else. So it's a good mix. So yeah, I think I'm going to play around with both of these and come up with a color story that I am drawn to. But for right now, they're both going to be mid-tier, and so I'm excited to see what to do with them. And also I've learned, as far as the pre-made palettes, I don't always prefer the pre-made palettes, and for Metamorphosis and Evergreen, I picked out the Metamorphosis shades I wanted, and I picked out the Evergreen shades I wanted, and I made a BYOP from that, and that's top tier. But these are mid-tier, and so this is helping me learn here to. It is exciting getting shadows in the bag. It really is. But then I understand why I think they put in shades that they think most people would use. And even with the lipsticks, it's always a shade I wouldn't use because it's a neutral tone. And y'all know I prefer a black lip, or at least something dark and popping, and it's usually not. But yeah, so these are mid-tier, and I am going to mix them up. Come up with something that does call to me so that I will use them more. And I do tend to just use one palette versus palette hopping, even though I am really liking palette bingos and palette mashups, because 23 palettes we used in May. It's only 31 days in May. But for that one video, that was like 3 palettes, and the mashup was 2. So, all right, now we got 2 left, both from Lethal Cosmetics. I had a thought not to keep Berlin 89, which sounds insane, because look at this. And I think, well, it's not that I think, and this has a lot of life in it, so I'm going to keep it. But what I don't gravitate to is this. And this is a nice shade for me, like up here for like transition area. This I otherwise don't use. This I don't use. This I don't. This is like hella bright. So if I just want to brighten a corner, or if I just want to put, you know, a little bit of brightness like right in the center under here. But other than that, there's tones in here I don't gravitate to. I don't gravitate to this. I don't gravitate to this. I'm paranoid about my finger. Paranoid. Why am I talking like, where am I from? Paranoid about my finger, because it is still sore. I don't gravitate to this. Or this doesn't show up much on me. And so really that's most of the palette. So this is going to be mid-tier. But I keep it because I love the formula, and I know whatever look I do is going to look nice. I can do a grungy look with this. I can do a smoky look with this. I can do a somewhat vampy kind of look. This is a dual chrome, so it's green and now it's not. But putting that with this brown or the black and then blending it out with this. So even though I don't gravitate to it, I'm not saying I don't feel like, okay, get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like I was with the MAC ones. And so that'll be mid-tier. And Teresa is Lethal. Every time I use this, I gain more appreciation for it because of what it allows me to do. And when I first got it, I didn't know what to do with it. And I did one look, one eye, another look, another eye. And in the video, I'm like, I don't know about this one. And this was the one that they liked, and even Lethal commented on that video saying the one you didn't like is the one we love. And I'm like, damn. And so, but looking at it, I was like, what the hell? And they set it up to do, you know, easy monochromatic this way, or do, you know, purple pink look. But I was just like, what? Or do, you know, rose, do a look, these 3 and then these 3 and then these 3. And I don't think I've even done that. I don't think I've done by rows or by columns. I don't know what I did, but every time I use a palette, I try to do something with it that I haven't done before. And so each time I did use this, I was like, wow, like this is really nice. And so it was me just coming out of my comfort zone, because between the first 2 looks, one on each eye, and the third look, which I did the same look on both eyes, it was a long time, because I was looking at this like, what am I going to do with this? And then I was like, why did I even buy it? Because I don't gravitate to these light tones. You know what I'm saying? This is bright as hell. This is like Overdrive from whatever that other BYOP that I showed you. And I said that was a bright shade. This is hella fucking bright. And that shade from Berlin 89. So I have 3 super bright silvers from Lethal. This one, the one in Berlin 89, and Overdrive from a BYOP from the Wildflower palette. So, we're going to put this, excuse me for smacking, we're going to put this top tier because I'm excited about what else I can do with this palette. I'm no longer afraid of it. I still don't know what the hell to do with it, but I do know whatever I do is going to look really nice and it's going to be bomb. And again, I love Lethal's formula. So we're going to put this top tier. Yes, that surprised even me. So, excuse me for yelling. I dropped the palette and it felt like where my brushes were and I didn't want to crush my brushes. So, I'm laughing because am I really going to try to... Oh, I'm not going to be able to do this because these motherships is heavy as a mother. So these are... Shit, these are all the top tiers. If I drop these, I'm going to be so mad. So we're going to try and... Oh, shit. Do a screenshot really quick. Let me lean back. Oh, my back hurts. So that's going to be our screenshot. So these are all our top tiers. Shit. Okay. So we have, out of 23 palettes, excuse me for spitting if y'all saw that. So out of 23 palettes, top tier is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we have 18 top tier. Y'all, this is freaking awesome. And so that leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm writing this down to see if the numbers add up right. And these are the mid-tier. So we have 6 mid-tiers. I don't know how in the world. So these are mid-tiers. And I feel like if I keep using Classic Autumn Palette, I feel like this might move to top tier. Because every time I use it, I really love the look. It just does not call to me. And so it's just friggin' weird. So maybe I'll make a point to use that again in June. Encrypted Kryptonite is mid-tier. Just because it's a dupe for my collection. Says me with all the green ones. And Better Than Burgundy, mid-tier because it's a dupe. I do highly recommend these. And so if you are interested in these, check my Macquarie store. Every time I used it here. So you'll see how many times I did use it. Somebody asked me about a palette. How many times did you use it? Or was a blush or something? I said, I don't know how many times I used it. And I don't want to just make up a number and lie to you. Because I'm like, blushes and stuff like that, I don't know. And so this is mid-tier only because the lighter tones don't... This is really pretty. This is what I'm seeing in person, like that green, but then it's burgundy. This is only mid-tier because it just doesn't call to me because the lighter shades in it, but then when I use it, I love it. The same with Classic Autumn Palette. These two are mid-tier because it doesn't call to me, but I'm going to mix them up and come up with a color story that does call to me so that I will use them more because I do love Lethal's formula, and so I don't want them to just sit here. And they have the PAO is 24 months, and so they last a long time. And of course, you can use, you know, shadows longer than that. And so I don't want to like not use them. You know what I mean? And so these are what both of these looks like. And so yeah, I'm gonna mix these up. So that is it, y'all. So to do a really quick recap, damn, this video is almost a freaking hour. That's because I kept counting. Maybe I'll edit part of that out. Night Flower, BYOP Lethal. Berlin 89. I was gonna say Berlin Underground, which was a Nomad palette. Encrypted Kryptonite from MAC, and Better Than Burgundy, and the Classic Autumn palette are mid-tier. Top tier, Teresa's Lethal, Mission XXX, Decadence, Lunar Nightshade, and Bordeaux Bliss, Jolena, Iceland, Lethal, BYOP, Some Kind of Haunted, Selim Cosmetics, Yucca Palette, Xenon, 669, Beans, and Booty, In My Dreams, Moonlit Seduction, Sublime, and Subversive. Those are all top tier. So I'm really excited because regardless of the numbers, we had 3 times the amount of top tier as mid tier. So I am really excited about that. And we are going to get one day where everything is top tier. That's the goal, because I really want to love everything that I have and everything that I use. And so we're going to go. Thank you so much. This was hella long. I didn't think it was going to be this long. I'm sorry. But no, I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Excuse me. So thank you for being here for this. And yeah, my math is off. But thank you for being here. Let me know your thoughts about these palettes. Like, are there any mid tiers that would be tops for you? Are there any top tiers that would be mid or low tier for you? So that's the question for this video. Yeah, I was going to say something else, but I'm not. I mentioned it earlier. So if you didn't skip, you caught it. So we'll see what happens with that. So thank you for being here, and comments always welcome. Subscribe, like, share, join, all that good stuff. And as always, self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me soon.